So come on now, Denver train. Take me back to see my Mary Jane. Roll me back, roll me back, roll me back to see my Mary Jane.
Hello, everybody. So let's talk about that a minute or two because I'm gonna give you a little piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I think the smart thing for you to do is come up with 10 to 12 different kinds of, God forbid I use this word, outcomes,
Mm-hmm.
and have different ways to get to those outcomes. So you're still planning, but it's not canned anymore. You have to react to what they are doing. But you
Right.
can't just
That's
go in and say, oh, hey, I'm just going to show up and whatever they tell me to do is what I'm going to do. You need to
right.
start with the end in mind.
Right.
So,
That's exactly what she was saying,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that you watch the skiers in your group, and you give a summary, and you say, well, hey everyone, I've noticed that this is happening with everybody skiing, and why don't we try to work on why in terms of our tasks, and let's see how that helps us. And so
So
it
one of
was
the things I'll
really
go ahead and kind of another piece that I will emphasize a lot is make sure that you're in your level three. Make sure you're doing the complete teaching cycle.
mm,
Introduce yourself, shake hands, get to know everybody,
okay.
talk about what you're working on, talk about what they're working on, get to know them personally and what they're actually trying to do. This all happens that hour before, right? They give you an hour and you're going to be introducing yourself, you're going to be talking to everybody, and you're going to be using that time to gather data. And then from that data, you're going to weave it all together, ball it all up, and you're going to come up with an outcome that you think is going to be successful with these folks. And then from there, you're going to take it. It's level three, so it's not really a progression, but it's definitely a series of tasks. Okay, and the tasks need to be related. So call it a progression if you want to. And then from there, hopefully an outcome will be reached, and an outcome, and you could talk about it with them at the bottom, and they're all going to agree, hey, I noticed this happened. Okay, and that is your complete lesson. So it happened. It starts. It starts the minute you touch skis on snow. It doesn't start when they say, okay, time, go, right? You have to be prepared way beforehand. So all the things that we do with our clients is all the things that we're going to do with these guys. They're just unpaid, they're not paying us to do it. Right? Does that make sense? And that was, like I said, she went on and on kind of about the teaching cycle, and that's where I kind of went, just kind of faded down. But I'm glad you got that out of it. So cool. Dion, you want to add anything to that?
Two things. Don't ever be afraid to deviate from your plan when you start working with the people. What you see is what you see. So if they don't do something that correctly that you ask them to do, even though they should know it, take them back through that again. Focus on actually getting the movement of what you're trying to show correct, and then know the why of what you picked. Why did you have them do pivot slips? Why did you have them do stork turns? Know the why in as far as the technical impact of their skiing.
Yeah.
So like for pivot slips, why do you do a pivot slips when you're working on bumps? Because the edge change happens in the fall line. So
And you
instead
don't
of when
use the
you're
word,
across
and
the
don't
hill.
use the word don't.
Oh, I don't know. Come
Don't
on,
do
Gumby.
that.
I think I looked at my group and went, that ain't it, guys. Because I had figured I already failed. So don't be afraid to deviate. Don't be afraid to be authentic. Just know the why about what you're doing.
And if you did a task and it was unsuccessful, have them do the task again and change maybe the constraint. But you have to be able to recognize if something fails or not, because I guarantee you the examiners have. You just don't move on. You need to change. You need to make sure that they're doing what you want them to do. Not to
Can
the
you give
point
an
that
example of that when you say change the task, come up with a different constraint?
I would say that you better come prepared with the fact that you're going to be doing a task. And I'm not saying stick with the task. I'm saying maybe change the task in a way that's going to make them a little bit more successful. Right? Does that make sense? So you have all these things you can do. You can do timing, you can do speed, you can do slope angle, you can do all of that stuff, right? And those are all constraints, and you can modify the constraints in any way you want to help them become successful. Okay? I mean, it might be something as simple as, hey, we're working on these, we're working on trying to get on an edge earlier, and I really want you to really stand on the new edge as early as humanly possible. And that's changing the constraint. And then show it. Does that make sense? All right, cool. Any other questions on that? I'm glad you got something out of it.
If anybody else needs more examples of altering a task, we've all got a whole bunch of them, I'm sure.
We do it all the time in lessons, right?
I mean,
maybe our example was too perfect and we needed to kind of dumb it down a little bit. We do that all the time. We have to be able to communicate with our folks and give them something that's achievable.
Would this group be interested in following up what Dion just said about to spend an evening talking about tasks and different ways you'd approach it in different terrains for different outcomes, to achieve different outcomes?
I would.
I will add it to my list.
That would be super interesting.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
I'm getting a whole lot of,
Yeah.
yes, let's go do that. Yeah, we may have to add some other folks in because I always like to hear these things too from other perspectives. I don't see Mike here today. All right.
He usually hides.
Variations. So tasks and their variations, right? Does that make sense? Yes?
Yes, with specific
Because-
intentional outcomes that you're trying to achieve, and not necessarily for a child or for adult, just
I will say that
levels
most
being-
of those you probably already know, but I mean, like pivot slips are a great example. I mean, we can do pivot slips and we could do falling leaps. That is a variation of a pivot slip. Or we could turn it and put in a hockey check in there. And now we're doing a pivot slip to a hockey check, right? And we're working on edging a little bit more. I mean, those are all variations that we can use.
you can also
help
change
us.
the timing of the flexion and extension. You can do them
Yeah.
most flexed at fall line instead of flexed across the hill.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are great ways for you to add to your bag of tricks. I mean, what I still think pot wedge turns are appropriate things to do in level 3 as an exam task. I did. I called them short radius, high performance short radius wedge turns. And I got a chuckle from Jonathan Blue out of that. He was like, "What are we doing?" I go, "Short radius, high performance wedge turns." And then I went and demonstrated. He goes, "Oh, I see what we're trying to do now." So those are all tasks and their variations that allow us to make different results. Yes? So I will put something together.
So
make sense?
Chuck, you
Yeah.
piqued my interest with that. What was the outcome you were trying to accomplish by having people do short radius, high performance wedge turns?
Scotty, that is a very good question.
Because I could use that.
I would highly recommend that you steal everything that you hear.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
So, my group was working on early edging. So I had them do, oh, good Lord. What are those things that you go out with and you come back in again? What are those things called?
Crab walks.
Crab walks. I can never remember the name of them. But it was a modified crab walk. So basically, what I was doing was I was putting the edge out and then landing on it and then taking it right in. Okay. And making a turn out of that. So it was like a wedge, I'm sorry, a wedge Christie, like a stem Christie, but it was really more like I wanted you to stand on this one and then let this one deflect you across. And we did that first. And the whole idea was to get us on edge as early as possible. And then from there, I had them do high performance, short radius wedge turns. And the idea was that now the wedge you're already on edge, right? Can we agree to that? Now we're adding a very intentional rotational component to it. So now I'm getting the early edge up here because I'm in a wedge and I'm really bringing it around. And then from there, we took it into some reciprocal short radius turns.
What do you mean reciprocal?
I had one person follow another.
Oh, okay.
And their responsibility was to tell them whether they were trying to if they were getting early edge, if they could see the bases of the skis from behind. Does that make sense?
You know, I thought you meant like there's a type of turn that we call reciprocal.
No, reciprocal, we
Yeah,
have those 5.
reciprocal teaching. Got it.
Yeah, reciprocal teaching. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We have
no,
those.
that I know.
Yeah, it's a great tactic. Great tactic. And everybody gets something out of it. All right. Are we ready to move on? Yeah, let's move on. All right. Cool. So the outcome tonight is we're going to be looking at what we have one skier that I've already put up, and he's going to be doing medium raised turns. But guess what? We're not going to do tonight. We're not going to be looking at medium raised turns. We're going to be looking at beautiful wedge Christies. Lots and lots of wedge Christies because you know what? They're one of the tasks, and even a lot of L3s can't do them well. And it's
Speak
kind of
for
nice to get
yourself.
an idea. Go ahead, Dion.
Speak for yourself about not being able to do wedge Christies.
Whatever. So the learning outcome tonight was, as I put in the email, that the candidates will be able to show a relationship, hopefully something in the biomechanical realm, between two chosen fundamentals. And I'd really like it to be able to do it in both directions. Okay? So say that we're doing ski-to-ski pressure and edging. I'd really like you to show a relationship between the two, appropriate to your candidacy, whether you're at a level 2 or a level 3. And then I'd also like you to do it in a reverse direction. And I have 2 constraints that I want you to do it with. One of them is I want you to give me at the end of your little speech, I want you to give me a little statement of the overall, and I want it to rhyme like you're doing a rap. And the other constraint is you have to stand up when you're talking and actually show me with your hands and your legs and your body. That sound cool?
It's perfect considering my camera doesn't work.
We're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. This is gonna be honor system for you. All right. And that's why I have Jim Shaw here doing wedge, Christie, telly turns, which actually are kind of really interesting because they're accurate, but they're not like totally really performance driven, which I think is really interesting. So anyway, here is our video victim tonight. So somebody talk to this. Actually, before we start, give me two fundamentals. Somebody give me, this is the only two fundamentals we're going to be talking about tonight. Two fundamentals.
I looked at rotary and ski to ski.
Rotary and ski to ski. Okay, interesting. Cool.
Rotary and fore aft.
It could be rotary and fore aft, but he's already said rotary and ski to ski. So next week we're going to be doing edging and fore aft.
I mean, we
Because this
can
is a
change them if
nasty-
other people want different. That's just what I looked at because that's what I saw that I would work on.
All right, cool. So, since you spoke up, what are some things you're watching about this guy? What are some good things first, and what are some things that are probably not quite so good? Let's really speak to the things you like first. What could we
Well,
build
I
on?
like that he's controlling his speed down the hill,
Cool.
and I like that his skis are mostly parallel. What else do I like? There's not much else I really like.
I mean, he's doing a pretty good job, isn't he?
Yeah.
Looks like he's trying to create a long leg, short leg from
Yeah.
turn.
And his turns are even.
And he's in control.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's getting ready to hit anybody, right?
And it seems like most of his movements are pretty progressive. I'm not seeing a lot of sudden jerky things.
No. I would agree with that.
And I think maybe then I just saw something I didn't think, but before this, I thought he was edging simultaneously, not sequentially.
Okay.
But maybe I disagree with that now, at least in one
Why
time.
would you disagree with that?
I thought I saw one that looked like things were happening not sequentially, but when he was coming towards me, it looked pretty funny.
Okay.
And then if we can say something bad, it seems like he's really pushing the tip lead way too much.
Cool. Would that be necessarily a bad thing? Or is that something to build on? Or I mean, tell me why it's bad.
Well, I
I
just
get to
thought
be
we
the
weren't supposed to
examiner.
create artificial tip lead. And it does seem like when he does that, and I know we're not talking fore aft, but it does seem like that makes him get more aft. He's pretty squatted down, it seems.
Cool.
But in,
Compromises his ability to do things, right?
to me, the big problem with the big tip lead is you're using different parts of the ski fore and aft. You're defeating the purpose of what you're trying to do. So you got pressure to the tail of the inside ski and the tip of the outside ski. They're kind of fighting against each other.
Cool. Cool. So what are some things, and we're going to stick with the edging and the ski to ski pressure realm. I mean, there's some other things too I would probably look at too, but I'm me and you are you. So let's just stick to those two because we're in an exam right now, and those are the two we're going to be looking at. In those realms, ski to ski and edging, well, let's just pick one. How is he getting edging? How is he creating edges?
I thought we were doing
Rotation.
ski to ski and rotation.
We were doing no edging and
Well, I had said ski to ski and rotation, but we can
oh,
do.
ski to. I'm sorry, you're right. So ski to ski and rotation. I'm sorry, my bad. So yeah. So what is in the rotational realm? What are we looking at here?
He's got a lot of whole body rotation going on.
So describe that a little bit more to me.
He initiates the turn with his upper body, and as his upper body continues to turn, he gets square to his skis, and he does that consistently from turn to turn.
Pretty consistently. So when does so there's a rotation when?
At the top of each turn,
Is there any rotation after that?
the body rotates fully together.
Okay. So he kind of starts the rotation, and then after that, it's not really much more input than that?
Yes.
Right, and that results in him being basically his torso or his zipper is almost always pointing the same way his toes are pointing along the length of the skis.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he's squared up through the whole turn.
He's square. I agree. So how does that affect those two fundamentals if you were going to pick one?
Because he's square at the top of each turn, that causes his upper body to incline throughout the turn. And because of the inclination, that causes more pressure to be on the inside ski.
So what has he got? What is he doing to get pressure off the inside ski? Or does he still have a lot of pressure on the inside ski?
He's got a lot of pressure on the inside ski throughout the turn, but as he initiates the turn, as his skis start to go down the fall line, he does a quick extension to get back to that outside ski.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say. He kind of stovepipes. He straightens up that leg to put pressure on the outside ski at the bottom of the turn.
Yeah, because he wants to get pressure to the outside ski, right? And now, honestly, he's doing a pretty good job of trying to get pressure to the outside ski. How is he getting pressure to the outside ski? Because I think, I'm not even going to say a word.
He may be opening up his ankle a little bit at the bottom of that turn, too. As he straightens that leg, he's putting pressure out, opening up his ankle.
I see him squatting down and kind of outriggering his outside ski.
Outriggering? Okay. So
Yes,
you think almost all the pressure's on the inside ski?
I see most of the pressure on the inside ski.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's on his inside ski through almost the whole turn. I see a very brief time right at the end of his turn, kind of finishation, where he gets on his outside ski so he can start to cross over, but it's brief, and then he goes back to his inside ski. That's what I see.
He shortens his inside ski by kind of squatting down.
Well, he flexes his inside leg a lot more than his outside leg.
All right. Why does he do that?
It's more like you talked about an outrigger. It's more like an inrigger. He's balancing over that inside ski.
There we go. Well, I think that's 6 1/2 dozen the other, right?
Right.
I think you're both correct in those. I mean, those are both kind of descriptors. He's hanging on the inside ski because he needs something to balance against because he's not balanced against the outside ski. How is he not balanced over the outside ski?
Well, can I ask a question?
Go.
Would I be so bad to say I see him being more two-footed throughout the whole turn?
Sure.
Because you can even see the ski tracks making an imprint in the snow that look exactly the same. So weight-wise, pressure-wise, he's almost like just maintaining a really I mean, am I off track here? But I'm feeling like there's this 2-foot skiing going on that he's really trying to manage. That's how he gets his balance to some degree, and it is more inclination than angulation,
It is inclination.
more than any angulation, and
Angulation, even
that
though we're not
squatting
really-
down diverts pressure to both feet, sort of like that center line, result in him getting his skis down. And are his skis relatively wide? Or is that
Yeah, I don't think they're that wide. I mean,
not that wide?
kind of
They look
wide,
kinda
but
wide.
I mean,
Okay.
they're you got to get wider. They get wider this way.
Well, I meant his width of his skis
Yeah,
seem on the wider side, but I don't.
So he does create angles at the end of the turn, but he's doing it because the outside leg slides out far enough and abducts, and it tips up on a higher edge angle than the other ski. So that's where he's getting some pressure at the edge of the turn to actually tighten up the turn radius at the end.
Cool. There we go. So he's riding the inside ski, but he's using just enough pressure on the outside ski to kind of push him around, right? So that's that outrigger. Ski goes out and helps me push out, right?
Well, and there's, I looked at this pretty close, and if you do some stops on this in his turn, there's definitely a divergence in his ski tips.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's some divergence, right?
Yeah, I mean, so
Right there.
he's heavy. Yeah, he's heavy on his inside ski the whole time, and that outside ski just slides out there. Gordon said he gets on a higher edge angle because it's just displaced more.
Yeah. So here's a spot right here.
Is he dumping his hip?
Good question. You tell me.
Well, if he's dumping his hip some, that would account for how he's trying to create edge angles and the extension of his outside ski, and he's not aligned over the outside ski.
There we go.
So he's got an inside tip lead and pressure on that, and he's trying to hold that position to ride it around. By holding his hips in that position, he's trying to create the edge angle and force the turn and rotate as in your biomechanics around the subtalar joint, and not because he's not tipping the skis together at the initiation of the turn.
And he's only tipping. I mean, the only pace that he really. I hate to bring in another fundamental on this one, but you're starting to kind of get to the point, which is how is he creating pressure to the outside ski, as opposed to how is he getting pressure to the inside ski. And we've been talking about rotational, and I really want to get those two to work in unison. One thing does the other, and the other one does one. They all work with and against each other.
So the upper body rotation tends to have you move to the inside ski and back.
Right.
And because he basically starts there, and we talked about whole body rotation, that tends to keep you inside, and it facilitates that outside ski sliding out because it doesn't have a lot of pressure on it. And that's the only way it gets grip, is it slides out far enough, gets to a higher edge angle.
Cool. How does it go the other? How does it go the other? Go ahead.
I was going to say, watching him ski, I didn't see upper body rotation like that. I didn't see a 1-2 body then skis. He's turning the whole thing. The skis are, I think, rotating him more than he's doing an upper body movement. Because when he starts that tip lead mid-turn, the rotation that happens, isn't that a counter rotation at the hips, basically? He pushes that front fit up, it opens up the hips or points them down the hill. But the rest of the time he stays really square, and at the end of the turn, he gets square again.
He stays square. I mean, how much of the turn is he square?
I think he's square through the whole turn.
But with that kind of tip lead, he's got to do something that with his hips. Hips are part of the upper body.
We're starting to click. All right, cool. So because he's not aligned over the outside leg, what is he doing instead to get more pressure to the outside ski? I mean, I agree with everything you guys have said, but he's still trying to get pressure to the outside ski, right?
Yeah, so
and by the way, this is called a rotary push-off.
When those hips turn to point downhill because he pushes the foot ahead, it does create some angulation.
There we go. So switch that he does has something to do with what he's trying to do? Because he's
Yeah,
already.
I don't see him pushing his foot ahead. I see him letting his outside leg lag behind because he's balanced on that
Yeah,
inside
but
leg.
so biomechanically, it's the same thing. What's going to accommodate that up the chain? What movement has to occur?
I would say he has to flex his inside leg more.
Well,
Yeah, but getting in that position, can his hips still be pointing straight ahead?
his outside ankle has to be flexed more because it's back.
It will be back. He's getting flex in that ankle. How is he achieving flex in the ankle, though? Somebody's already said it once tonight.
What, the pushing the inside ski forward, inside leg forward?
Or holding the inside ski back. One of those two. Because somebody already said he's losing some of his ankle flex at the turn, in the turn with his inside leg. We don't have matching shin angles.
Right.
Right, and you're losing some of the, yeah, you're losing some of the, when he stovepipes, he's opening up his ankle to increase pressure on that outside ski as he's riding the inside ski around.
Yeah.
I've heard stovepipe twice. What does that mean?
I do that once in a while as a bad habit. I push out if I don't have enough pressure on it because I get too far on the inside. My leg goes out like a stovepipe. It's almost straight and it opens up your ankle a little bit. It increases the pressure, but it's very uneven.
And that's what outrigger means too.
Yeah, so the same
you-
thing. You watch that one turn he made where the ski went out and around. You'll see that with me once in a while when I'm doing videos, getting somebody to do it. I'll pop one up coming down. It'll look just like that. That means I'm opening up that ankle and pushing a little bit too hard because I didn't get up on my edges early enough. Because I do the same. I got that old habit too, right? You know, I get my skis to the tip leads too much. I get my butt down there, and then all of a sudden, you know, I don't have enough pressure in the outside because I'm not driving it around. That's how I flunked my level 2, actually.
Oh, yeah. This skiing will not pass a level 3.
Are you
As
saying
a-
he's opening up his outside ankle or his inside?
Inside ankle.
Okay, because I thought you
Inside.
said outside and that didn't make any sense to me. Thank you.
You know, he's got that straight right arm on a left turn. Is he trying to use that to balance his weight over the outside ski or move some pressure to the outside ski?
Yeah, anything to get a little bit more pressure on the outside ski. He's trying real hard, but you know, he never really balances on the outside ski. I mean, if you had to take his inside ski off in any one of these turns, like right now, right, if you took off his inside ski right now,
Right.
what would happen to him?
Yeah, if you drew a line from his throat through his belt buckle, it would end up over his inside ski. If you drew just
He
a
took
vertical
off
line,
his inside ski, he's gonna fall inside.
He's going to fall down. Yeah, it's not going to be a pretty sight, right? Right, because he's not aligned over the outside leg.
right. If you extended that vertical line at the top, it would go right through his left boot, basically.
Right. If you went like this,
Yep.
yeah. Or you went perpendicular to the ski is really how you want to describe that, right? So if you went perpendicular to the ski, it would be nasty. We really want to create more angle in that. So I'm still leading you in a direction here.
Hey,
So
Gumby,
yeah,
can I ask a question to the group
yeah, leading question. It's
about
got to be a leading question. And it's got to
cool?
rhyme. It needs to rhyme.
Needs to rhyme.
It's time for you to start using your cognitive a little bit.
All right.
So
Chuck, are you gonna drop a beat?
No. You create your own beats. And
I
we've
can't
only
figure
got
out what
about
to rhyme with flex, Gumby. So
Hex, Mex, Tex, Lex.
Hex.
is the inside ankle flex a matter to make him vexed?
Yes.
I.e., how does it the amount that is changing on the inside ankle? How much is that really?
Well, to me, I look at I look at things relative, the inside ankle relative to the outside ankle, because we have that common thread that says ankles should flex a similar amount. And he's got one, that's why he's got so much lead change, because his outside ankle's heavily flexed and his inside ankle's not so flexed because he's kind of balanced on it. So I don't know where you're going with
Oh, I
what
know
you
Okay,
where
want to
she's
hear.
so
going. This is actually very interesting. I don't know if it's going to lead to the same result I'm looking for, but yeah, let's go.
so if both ankles were flexed the same amount as his outside ankle, what kind of position would he have over the skis?
He'd be all over his tips.
Yeah, he'd be doing a beautiful tail press, right? Or
Yeah,
a tip press.
right,
Tails would be off the snow. He's so
right.
far forward. If both ankles were flexed the same as his inside ankle through all three phases of the turn, what kind of positioning would he have?
He'd be aft.
Are you sure about that answer, Scott?
Yes.
I would advise you to go back and look through it again.
Well, if you look at his initiation, the only time he's centered at his skis are when he's kind of tall at that initiation and his knees aren't so flexed.
Why, for God's sake, would I want to be centered doing a medium radius carve?
At initiation,
Correct.
you don't want to be centered over your skis at initiation.
Most of the time, at a medium radius, no.
Well, let me restate that. I'm talking about in transition, because I know you want to be over your tips once you start, but I'm talking about before initiation.
So where do you want to be
You're
at
moving from
before?
slightly off your tails to onto your tips and through transition, right?
Yeah, so there's not actually a moment that I'm centered. That up and stand in the middle, that's what's getting in the way.
You have to pass through that position. You have to.
Well, in his
It's
case, you have to,
In
yes.
his case, with what he's doing, he has to. But if he would give up that understanding that he has to pass through that position and get into a centered position at initiation, he might be better able to change his movement pattern. He would have to give that up in order to do something different. And I'm going to say this idea that you have to be centered as you come through, that is something that PSIA talked about for years. And I'm going to say it's something they actually, if you watch the current demos that are being presented and you add in the centerline guidelines, it's something they no longer do.
So here's where we differ in our thinking. I think you can't be slightly aft and be slightly forward at initiation without going through being centered. It's
I don't
impossible.
plan on being slightly forward at initiation. No,
You don't want your
I am,
tips to have more pressure at
my
initiation
tips will
than in
have more
shaping and
pressure.
finish.
My tips will have more pressure because I maintain counter through transition, not because of my fore aft. It has to do with how my skis come underneath my hips. I have to move forward the length of my tip lead. So we're talking 2 inches. It is such a small
This is where
movement.
standing up will help you because it's a cross angle position. As you cross over to base of support, it flattens the skis, but you're not crossing over this way, you're crossing over this way. I'm aft here, I'm now forward here.
And I don't have to always do a crossover, because a true crossover where I come up,
Yeah, I mean, you could also do this.
you can do a blended, which is more of a cross under like what you would have in a bump turn, with much less extension than in a true crossover. And it allows for a rounder turn. And it allows you to get that tip pressure without having to move forward. I don't have to move. I've been through the same training you have, Scott. I don't have to move forward like how I was trained to. It made my skiing worse because it made me move so far forward that my tails pivoted. And that was not the result I was looking for. It made me try and change edges while standing on my toes.
Well,
I
that's,
change edges standing on my heels. My heel is down into the boot. I am dorsiflected, yes. So my calf is in, my shin is in contact with my boot, but my heel is pressing down through my boot and I'm rolling my talus joint, which is my heel, to change that edge. So yes, I invert and evert and I dorsiflect, but I don't shift forward to switch edges. I'm not switching edges on my toes. I'm not going from big toe to little toe. I'm going from right side of my heel to left side of my heel.
so you're telling me you never move along the length of your ski? You
Oh,
never
yeah,
move from slightly being on your heels to slightly being on your toes?
you do.
I do, but I don't move it at initiation. I am actually, I don't have to do the moving. The ski does the moving because it comes under me and then goes out. And as it comes under me, my pressure moves to the tip as the skis come back underneath my pelvis. It has nothing to do with me
That's
moving.
moving forward in relation to your skis.
No,
Yes,
or it's my skis moving
backwards.
Back,
back
same
to
thing.
me. But there's
Yeah,
a
same
difference
thing.
in the mechanics of those two movements. I don't have to extend at my knees to make that happen.
Well, you might have to pull your ankles back to make it happen.
Sometimes you do, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you move the base of support. It's actually easier to move the base of support than it is to move this giant ass upper body.
Right.
Yeah, way easier to move the base of support. All right, cool. So, what's the overall picture with this guy? What is the thing that's going to make him better? We kind of got a little bit off track there. Looking at we're analyzing this ski to ski pressure, how he's trying to get pressure to the outside ski, and how that rotational piece is. Somebody actually did a really nice description of how that rotation affects his ski to ski pressure. What I want to hear is, how does the ski to ski pressure that he's doing affect his ability to rotate?
Well, because his knees are so flexed, particularly his inside,
Mm-hmm.
he's using all this energy just to hold himself up instead of using his skeleton. So if he gets the alignment of his flex, knees, ankles, hips in sync on both legs, it's going to put him in a more balanced position to make it easier to turn his skis.
More balanced position is what I heard. Now you're going to have to describe that biomechanically using your hands.
So
And
I'd
you have
like to see
stand
him.
up.
I'd like to see him in a position of anticipation at
A
the
what?
start of the turn.
I'm sorry, that sounded like a 4-syllable word.
Well, it's one of PSIA's word. They
It's
don't.
not a PSIA word here. I don't want to hear anticipation
Okay,
release.
so how about a position of counter?
Okay, that's even worse. Because that
Okay,
sounds
so
like it's singularity. We're back to that singularity thing.
So I'd like to see him in a position where his skis are mostly pointed across the hill and the zipper on his jacket is pointed somewhat downhill.
All right, let me lead the
transition.
questioning real quick. What does the rotational fundamental say?
Control the
It
skis,
says control the
rotation.
rotation of the skis through turning, steering, pivoting, the legs separate from the upper body.
Okay, what is this guy doing here? Is he doing any of that?
No, that's why he needs to be in a position of counter or anticipation.
So what would be if his legs are splayed way far apart? I'm leading you to the promised land. Because his
Okay.
legs are so damn far apart, how does that affect his ability to rotate? Is it really easy to rotate when you got two
No,
points of contact
it's
that are like way
difficult.
far apart?
It's difficult.
Okay, I'm gonna dumb it down here.
There we go. Yeah, go.
Because his legs are so far apart, he has lost the inability to maintain upper body, lower body separation.
Bingo. Bingo. He can't use leg rotation. You never see him ever use leg rotation. At any specific time, I'd like to tell me where you see any leg rotation that doesn't involve the pivot at the top of the turn. It kills it. I mean, his feet are 2 feet apart by that time. I mean, by the time he gets to here, it's like, now I got to rotate this whole thing. If he had his feet closer together, he would be able to do this. So the answer to your question is yes, he is dumping his hip, which makes it pretty obvious what the situation is. And we've already spent way more time on this guy than I really wanted to. Is there any questions on this guy?
I'd like to add one more thing about this guy.
Bingo, go.
He's settling in every turn, and anatomically, with him in that position, he's incapable of doing rotation. We can't walk like that. We can't go down a hill in that position with or without skis. So until he fixes his fore aft, a lot of the things that we've been describing about him, I'm not sure are anatomically possible.
Well, it's how he's achieving his fore aft, I think, is the problem. I think he's fairly balanced.
You don't think he's settling at every turn? Look at him in every turn.
Oh, no. I know where you're going with this. And that was a real question I had before is why is he pushing one leg far forward? And then why has he got another one way, way back?
Yeah, and I think
When you average them out, they end up being centered.
while he is an accomplished skier,
Right.
you don't know what you don't know. Like, I didn't know I had a pop until somebody told me I had a pop.
It would be nice if somebody told you when you're
Now
doing it.
he's settling until somebody said, Bud, you need to get your butt up off the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this guy and I go, okay, I don't see any upper lower body separation rotationally, right? And when he does do the rotation, it's more of a result of him balanced on the inside leg, which allows him to rotate against that leg, rotate over the top of that leg instead of allowing the leg to rotate underneath it. I know that's pretty complicated, but the point is that he loses his ability to rotate because of the way that he positions his pelvis over his legs.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what he needs to do is he needs to figure out how to get, in the simplest possible terms, how can we get our feet closer together so we can rotate them together?
First, I think he has to get his femurs up. I think his femurs need to come.
Yeah, I mean, yes and yes. I think that would be a result.
I think that would help him achieve the result.
It could be. I mean, that's the chicken and egg thing. So we're getting past the objective part into the subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how do I know this? Because he's me. Because that's what I do.
And there, you know,
So
I mean,
I have to
riding.
remind myself.
I mean, this is the park and ride. This is definitely the park and ride, right?
Yeah.
100%.
He needs
Stick
to
the leg
direct
out.
more pressure to the outside ski so his inside ski just can slide next to it.
Yeah, well, yeah, he needs to get pressure off the inside ski so they can balance over the outside ski.
Right.
Right, and I'm not disagreeing with anything that's been said prior to this, but I also think anatomically, I think some physical therapists would say, you know, what you're all prescribing is great, but I don't know if he can like that.
Oh, we don't know. No, I think you're 100% right. Right? I mean, we're looking at this objectively right now. What's the data that we're getting, and what can we interpret from that data? Then from there, we can start talking about the real versus ideal. What can we get with this guy to do at the end of the day? Maybe he's got some hip issues that forbids him from being able to do that. I don't know. We'd have to talk to him about that. But now we're entering that. You know, we've achieved the data. Now we're going to move to this prescription or the lesson part of it. The prescription's over here, but we need to now look at the objective part or the subjective part of this is what I want to do with this guy in order to achieve the result I want to get.
So what would you do to get his skis closer together?
When we need to figure out how to get his skis closer together.
Right. So yeah, what would we do to do that?
I don't know. We would tell him we need to get our skis closer together.
Okay.
Railroad
And here
track.
is the reason why we need to get our skis closer together. And then we could start talking about, hey, what I'm noticing from you is because you allow the one leg to get way far apart from you, the two legs get so far apart, it robs you the ability to rotate your legs and do the thing that you want, which negates any ability to apply proper pressure to the outside ski. So all those things, I'm assuming he's one of our L2 or L3 candidates. So in order to achieve your goals of successfully passing this, we need to figure out how to free up your pelvis so that those legs will rotate underneath you.
Whoever said railroad tracks, I think that would be a good choice.
I think that would be a good start. There might be some other things I don't.
I do outside ski turns.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be the obvious choice. I know, they suck. Everybody hates them. You know why they suck? Because they're hard to do.
What about doing really exaggerating what he's doing by doing outrigger turns and then bringing the skis back and letting him get the skis closer and closer?
Could be. You're talking about doing crab walks.
Crab walks are doing really outrigger turns where you deliberately push that outside ski away from you and then see what happens when you bring it closer and get it, do it, go all the way out, bring it all the way in, and then find a center.
I think I like where you're going. I would probably look for maybe a deflection crab walk, which allows, you're standing on this ski and then he allows this ski to push you this way. But I'm wondering if that wouldn't just reinforce what he's already doing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is a good time for your performance wedge turns.
It
Wedge
might be a
Christie.
good time for those high performance short radius wedge turns. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the great thing about wedge turns. They really force you to rotate your legs.
And you got to be on that outside ski so that you can slide that inside ski in.
Yeah.
Can't do that if all your weight's on it.
Yep. Power wedges. Yep. They're effective. All right. It's 8:00 and we got to get to our breakout rooms. Spent a lot of time on this knucklehead. All right. So, how many people we got today? All right.
There we go.
Here's our guy right here. So the first question is he successful or is he not successful and why?
And what's the task?
At the task, yeah. The task is wedge Christies.
I don't think those would pass.
No, they probably don't pass.
They're totally manufactured.
So describe to me how they're manufactured. I like the statement.
Yeah, it's what he's doing is he's pushing apart his heels, not allowing in the fall line a wedge to naturally develop, and then instead of him allowing the wedge to naturally undevelop as his skis go into complete the turn, he's just rotating them back out.
Cool.
So it's
More like
manufacturing the wedge and then remanufacturing the parallel turn. So he just lifted the inside leg to get it to.
So a stem turn rather than a stem Christie.
It's a stem curve instead of a wedge Christie.
Yeah.
I mean a wedge Christie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just
And there's no counter.
Well, no. I mean, we could talk about counter, but again, that opens a whole can of worms. Careful when you start talking about counter. And this is the way I like you to think about when we start using those terms like anticipation release, which Scott brought up, right? As soon as you do that and you have to explain to your client what the hell that means, you've kind of lost the plot. So can we do it in a way that makes more sense? Like, for instance, I would really like you to turn your legs more than your upper body.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the two fundamentals that we're working on are going to be rotation and ski to ski pressure. So, what is he doing to start to get the skis to turn from one side to the other?
He's turning his upper body.
Yeah, he's turning his whole body.
Yeah. Cool. What would you like him to be doing instead?
Separating upper lower body. So he could
What
rotate.
did I just say?
What was that?
What did I say? Because now you forced me to ask you the question of, what do you mean separating of the upper and lower body?
Turn your legs more.
Well, I'd like him to um, turn to make his turns with his legs and not his upper body.
There we go. All right, so we have some UBR, what's happening at the top of the turn versus the shaping phase.
So would it help to ask the student to begin his turn by shortening his inside leg by weakening it or lifting it up a little bit at the top of the turn?
You mean from a biomechanical standpoint for a wedge Christie?
Yes.
No. No. This is a turn where, remember, we got our common threads and we have the fundamentals. So we got the two fundamentals right now. We have rotation and ski to ski pressure. Then we have these common threads, and it's still one of the common threads still says both skis start to point simultaneously into the turn. Right? Does not say both skis shall turn simultaneously. It just says both skis shall turn simultaneously. It doesn't say one should turn more or less than the other.
So skis are simultaneously guided to begin the turn.
Exactly. But one ski turns more or rotates more than the other ski, which is what creates the wedge.
Well, why I said that, I think, is because he gets onto his outside leg. It's not really, to me, a stem, but he does get shifts his weight to his outside ski. Then he finds all of his weight on his outside ski and doesn't know what to do with his inside, so he just slides it over. rather than at the top of the turn begin to lighten his inside sufficiently that he can maintain enough pressure on both skis so they can grip and turn at the same time.
So let me look at it from a different perspective, okay? If I want one ski to rotate more than the other, what do I got to do in terms of pressure?
He has to lighten the pressure and flatten the inside ski.
No. If I want one ski to turn more than the other, what do I got to do to the ski in order to make it turn more than the other? That's the question. Because we talk about this all the time.
Create an edge on the
No,
outside.
no. In terms of pressure, if we want one ski to turn faster than the other, what do we do instead?
Direct pressure toward the outside ski.
We want to have less pressure on it so that we can make it turn faster.
Were you talking about less pressure on the outside ski?
Yes.
On the
Yes. And that's the whole point of the kind of the stem Christie too, is we have to lighten the stem Christie we have to lighten the outside ski in order to get it to move away from us. If we pressure it, we can't really turn it that well anymore. Does that make sense?
Well, we're simultaneously guiding the skis to begin the turn.
Right. But one ski is turning more than the other. The outside ski,
Yeah,
I'm going this way. The inside ski's moving too, but the outside ski's got to spin more. It's got to
it's
turn
got to
more.
move faster than the inside
Right.
ski.
In order for me to do that, it has to have less pressure on it. So
Isn't that because you move forward on the
I'm
fall?
still maintaining pressure on the inside ski or the old outside ski. I'm delaying the pressure exchange until after
The
he has
apex.
moved out. And then I allow pressure to build on this ski before I allow the skis to move in again. That's the very definition of a wedge Christie. What normally we see people do is they move the ski out and then immediately pressure it.
Mm-hmm.
Then allow this to happen. No, you need to actually delay the pressure release.
Okay, I see what you're
Delay
saying.
the pressure release. I want to stay on the inside ski for a little while, allow this ski to go out, and then as this one grips and starts to turn me, then I'll gradually move to the outside ski. I'll align to the outside ski. And it actually says it right here. Both tips steered down the hill at initiation to create a wedge. As the wedge is created, outside ski turns faster in the initiation as a wedge is created. From the fall line, the inside ski turns faster and until it matches the outside ski. So these are all ski performances. This is the key for body performance. Allow turn forces to transfer more weight to the outside ski through the shaping phase. So we're still on the inside ski through the initiation.
Mm-hmm.
Lighter inside ski to match the outside ski.
Then lighten the inside ski to match out in. You're talking about into the shaping phase.
After the fall line.
After the apex, then you match. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Center of mass is in between the feet like a wedge turn for the wedge portion of the turn. Center of mass moves further to the inside of the turn during the shaping phase like a parallel tune to perform the twisty portion.
Chuck, you're reading that. Where are you getting that from?
Oh, it's in the IDP.
Let's see. Yeah.
Here, I'll hold on, I'll share it. Because I actually clipped it out. Here it is. And if you want me to, I'll go ahead and throw it in the chat so you have it too.
Okay, yeah, that'd be perfect.
So you can read it. This is as stated by Rocky Mountain. I don't know where you're teaching at, Shane. So
well, I'm teaching at Beach, but they're doing the same thing. What they're having us doing is extension. You're moving a little bit forward. So as that ski starts coming around, it forms a wedge because of the balance going downhill. They call it a three-legged stool. So your
Sure.
weight's still on the inside as you're forward like this. But as you're going forward and you're coming around, because of the slope, you're going to start to transfer onto that
Yes.
outside ski as you're in that shaping phase, and then one naturally wants to follow it around. So it
Yes.
completes in a natural pattern. You described it well, but he has us doing it through extension. You're moving into that apex of the turn so that as those skis start coming around, they naturally form a three-legged stool to balance the guest.
So he's asking you to move forward and down the hill, isn't he?
Yes.
Which is going to naturally put you on the out. It's going to maintain pressure on the old outside ski, which is now
Correct.
the new inside ski. So it's doing the same thing, right?
Right.
That's more of a feel piece, but the idea is that I need the outside ski to move away. I can't do that when there's pressure on it. I have to actually lighten the pressure on the outside ski, but it's still the old inside ski. So as I get through the old turn, now I flatten the skis because I can get both of them to turn this way, and then I can turn this one more because I don't have much pressure on it. Then as it grips, then I put pressure on that ski and go this way. And
Right. It starts to catch, and the other one plays catch up and matches the other one just naturally.
Right. And the stem, Christie, is bank, bank.
Mhm.
It's a very definitive 1-2. You see the 1-2. Outside ski moves, inside ski moves to match. Because you stand on the inside ski to move the outside ski to make the wedge. In this case, you have to release both edges at the same time and then allow this pressure to happen. That's
Right.
the difficult part because people don't know how to release.
If not, what happens is you'll turn your body and the outside ski will get ahead of
Right.
the inside ski.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to talk about this person? So I think that's enough information. That's a lot of information. Dave, does that make sense to you too?
Yeah, I had to think about that with well, of course, with the wedge Christie releasing both edges down, simultaneously guiding them to begin the turn down the fall line, and then when I think about the wedge, the gravity of the slope of the hill, the gravity in releasing the edges, you're creating the wedge by that movement with both feet. It's a small wedge, but you're creating the wedge with both feet. But then through the shaping phase, you're beginning to apply more pressure to the outside ski, lightening the inside ski and bringing it in to match.
Sure. 100%. And that's not what he's doing, is it?
No, I think he is doing more of a stem
It's a
turn.
stem. He's pushing the outside ski away.
You can see him, like Shane said, you can see him pushing the ski out.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. All right, groovy.
Which is a stem, and they will not pass that.
No.
Mm-mm.
No. Why are you doing that to me? There we go. Bang.
Ours, they only have about 3 turns on ours. There you go. That's probably ours. Yeah.
This guy, yeah. I gave you like the examiner.
He's an examiner?
Well, he's got a patch on his shoulder.
That doesn't mean he's an examiner. I can buy a jacket with a patch.
All right. Talk to me
Well-
about this guy.
Well, we failed him.
Ooh, cool. Why?
Well,
And you got to talk in terms of rotation and ski to ski pressure.
I'm going to let somebody else start it because I talked too much before.
All right, I'll go. I'll give it a shot.
Go, Kelp.
So we noticed a difference between his right turn and his left turn. His, I'm under pressure now, so not performing as well. His left turn is better than his right turn. And we notice when he turns to the right, he does a quick extension at the top of the turn So vertical extension. So he does get pressure to that outside ski, but then as he moves from initiation into shaping, pressure is directed towards the inside ski, and pressure remains on the inside ski from shaping to finish. As he moves into the next turn, his left turn, he does the same movements, creates a slight wedge. You see the outside ski turn before the inside ski. Then pressure is directed towards the inside. His upper body inclines. This is due to he's got some whole body rotation going on, which is causing him to incline during the shaping and finish phase of the turn. Ideally, we want his upper body separate from his lower body, maintaining counter from turn to turn, and this will help him direct pressure to the outside ski from turn to turn.
Cool. And we failed him because what's the simplest explanation?
Because he has more pressure on the inside ski than the outside.
Well, okay, but what difference does that make? When and where?
When does he have more pressure?
Yeah.
He has more pressure on the outside ski and shaping and finish.
Shaping and finish.
Sorry. On the outside ski?
Yeah,
Sorry,
on the inside ski. Tell
on
me
the
about
inside
the
ski.
inside ski.
The inside ski, he's getting more pressure on during shaping and finish phase.
He's on the inside ski in the shaping and finish phase. I mean, it's a low impact deal, so it's very subtle, right?
You can see it due to his upper body.
I 100%. There's upper body problems. I mean, that is like very evident, right? So what was the upper body causing the skis to do?
When
In
he makes
particular,
his left turn, one of the things you want to do on a good wedge Christie is you want to have the tips lead you into the turn. And on his left turn, it looks like he creates his wedge by sliding his heel out instead of leading with the tips.
Cool.
So that was one fail. And I also think he doesn't have enough separation in the flex and extension of his leg, which is why he ends up on the inside. I'd like to see him have more differential between flexing the inside leg and extending the outside leg as he moves to the new outside ski. So that's another fail. He doesn't have enough differential to move his center of mass.
So you'd like to see more short leg, long leg?
Yes.
Okay. If you see the stem, you need to do it again. And that's
Yeah,
where
we
I see it.
we couldn't come up with a rhyme. We failed on that.
I'm working the children's into it, you know? I got to get
Yeah.
you on the cognitive side a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is that I don't mind him being on the inside ski in the stem phase, not the stem phase, as the wedge is created. You don't have to be, because in order for you to get the outside ski to turn more than the inside ski, we need to lighten that ski. What I do see is that he's shoving the ski out. He's not tipping simultaneously. Doesn't say one ski shall turn as much as the other. It says nothing about that. It says both skis shall turn simultaneously, guided, steered into the next turn. But in this case, we're actually steering the outside ski more than the inside ski, and it needs to be lighter. It's like Jim always says, this is a delayed pressure release. And in the IDP it says, allow turn forces to transfer more weight to the outside ski through the shaping phase. So the initiation, you might be on the inside ski for quite a while.
Well, you should be on the inside ski until it gets some grip on the outside ski.
Which is going to be probably at the top of the shaping phase. So I I mean, he's trying real hard. That his left hand turns. I agree with you. They're garbage. Every one of them's a stem. That's a stem.
Mhm.
I'm going to say everyone in both directions is a stem.
I think he tries better on the other side. It still ends up being a stem. Like right, at least as he's trying to get the skis to turn downhill, but it's more of the heels than it is the toes. But the ones going to his strong side, which I'm assuming he's right-legged, yeah, that's a great stem Christie, or as I like to call them, the Chris Caruso stem Christies, or Chris wedge Christies. And I think you alluded to it. Why do you think he's doing what he's doing? You kind of alluded to it. Give me the relationship between rotation to ski pressure.
Well, he rotates with his upper body or uses whole body rotation, and that causes him to direct more pressure towards the inside ski.
Cool. What about the other way? Because he has more pressure on the inside ski at initiation,
He has to use upper body rotation to move from turn to turn.
cool. Who's next? I gotta go to the chat to remember which ones I got here. Hold on.
We did the same one.
You did the same one?
Yep.
Oh, did you really? Oh, I'm sorry. You weren't supposed to do the same one. All right. You guys talk to me about him. Oh, that cheats a little bit. Tell me about it. Tell me about this guy, Tom.
Give us different answers.
Give us different answers to the same thing.
Yeah, we thought he was doing more of a stem Christie than a wedge Christie.
Yeah.
Somebody told me in the exam, the space between your feet should never change. That your skis are just rotating under your feet, and if your feet are going in and out, then you're stemming, and that's pretty much what he's doing.
I always equate it to the 1-2. If you see a 1-2, you're probably in trouble. But that's
Okay.
another way to look at it too.
Yeah. We said the same thing as upper lower body separation is not very good, and that's getting in the way of him rotating.
Yeah, he's very square a lot of the time, isn't he?
Yeah.
He tries to cheat it with his hands, but his hands actually end up being a dead giveaway.
And I thought he kind of almost lifted the tail of the inside ski to rotate it sometimes.
Oh, I didn't even look at that.
So right there.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's a low impact.
Yeah.
It's a low impact, low intensity maneuver, task and they do say that the center of mass as it moves inside allows the ski to move to parallel again, but you end up kind of guiding the inside ski a little bit. And actually I think that's acceptable. You just don't want to do the 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, well, let's get to my group. Copy, and I think this was a guy. We're going to find out. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right, who wants to talk about this guy? Dave. Who was in my group? Dave and Shane and Michael. Pass, fail.
Fail.
Fail. Why?
Manufacturer turn.
No, now I'm going to ask you again. What does that mean by manufactured turn?
He's stemming. He's pushing the outside ski to initiate the turn.
Okay.
So that's the start.
So why is he stemming?
Because he's not keeping his weight on the outside ski, moving forward on the outside ski and allowing the new outside ski, which has very little pressure, to move faster, to rotate faster, to form that wedge as he's going into the fall line.
Let me ask it a different way. How is he rotating the skis now?
He's rotating with his upper body after he stems.
Cool. And when you rotate your upper body, which ski typically moves first?
The outside, when it moves. The outside ski moves forward of the inside ski. It doesn't rotate; it slides forward.
It will typically rotate as it slides forward, right?
Well, he stems
Like
out and
this.
pushes it forward.
Right.
So
And
his
the
tip
key
goes
on this
forward.
one, the key on this one's kind of timing. When does he actually rotate the outside ski? Is it before or after he starts the new turn?
It's before, because he pushes the tail out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's done kind of. I mean, the other guy's more sophisticated. Is trying to. The last guy we just saw is. He's an upper level guy. You know, he's trying to guide the skis into the turn and disguise the fact that he's pushing out. This guy is literally just pushing out, right?
There it is, right there. See, he just pushed it out. As he comes around, he just turns the inside ski to match it.
Cool. What would you like to see? Ideally, what would you like to see him do instead?
I would like him to start to move into the fall line. And as the skis are going into the fall line, naturally develop a nice wedge for support. His weight will still be on the outside, which is becoming the new inside ski, and the outside ski rotates faster.
So his weight will be on the new outside ski or the old outside ski?
Old outside ski. It
So
remains on there as he's moving towards the apex of the new turn.
So he's going to start rotating his tips down. He's still going to have pressure on this ski. He's coming from this direction. He's still going to have pressure on this ski to allow, and he's starting to turn this way. That's going to allow this ski to rotate more than the outside.
The skis, if he extends into the moves towards that apex, it turns the skis will start to naturally go there and form a wedge as a basis of support, like we call it a three-legged stool.
Okay, so when do the skis match?
They match when you're finishing the turn, because you're coming around and the ski will naturally, as the pressure goes on the outside ski, now you have the new outside ski, the other will naturally match, because it's hard to go across a slope with the ski remaining in a wedge. It naturally starts to match, because it's natural to stand parallel when you're going across the slope.
Cool.
So I'd say late in the shaping into the finish.
I try to hold it as late as possible, so it tends to look as natural as possible.
It says during the shaping phase. And there is some debate in the IDP whether it's before or after the fall line. I think the general consensus is that after the fall line is perfectly acceptable.
I learned it just after the apex of the turn.
Just after the apex.
Yeah, at least after the apex, because what happens with our level ones, when you're going for that, you start to get nervous, and then you're always going to try to force the skis parallel.
Yeah,
it's like natural. If you just what we were doing is, count to three when you're past that apex. Go 1, 2, 3. Now 1, 2, 3, and see if the ski just naturally goes there without manufacturing it.
All right, cool. So I got one last question for you. And we're going to find out whether you're paying good attention to the level 3s. What is the thing that he needs to be doing to to allow him to execute all that? What is the number one issue that he has that's creating this cascade?
Turning his legs separate from his upper body.
Cool. How does he do that?
Well, I
What?
got the answer right, didn't I? How does he
You
do that?
got the answer. Yeah, right.
Well, he's turning with his whole body. He's not turning with his legs.
But
If you
why is he
re-
turning with his upper body?
He's not really, but
Eh,
he,
that has something to do with release, 100%.
he's not simultaneously guiding his skis down the hill to initiate the turn.
Yeah, I get that. That's a symptom, but not really the cause.
Well, he's putting pressure on his outside ski, and then instead of lightening the pressure on the outside ski.
Well, I get that too, but that's more of a symptom and not really the cause. It's a rotational thing.
It keeps the pressure on the downhill ski, the inside ski, so it can't release to make the turn.
He still has pressure on the old downhill ski,
Right.
right? But as he flattens that ski, it still allows it to pivot. But he has to, in order for him to have access to his lower body over his upper body, what does his upper body have to do?
Turn downhill.
It needs to be turned down a hill, which is called
Counter.
counter.
Counter. Yeah.
And is he squared or is he countered throughout the entire turn?
He's
squared.
100%. And
Can-
if you're square, what does your body have to do in order to turn?
Twist.
You have to twist. It's really hard to only turn 30 degrees one direction. That only gets you starting into the turn, doesn't get you into the full turn. It's
Well,
a lot
that's
easier to have full range of motion than just this.
So, Chuck, can I, assuming we just answered all the world problems and maybe
Right.
add another question. So we're talking about matching skis.
Hmm.
Where does that terminology fit in with the change from opposing edges to corresponding edges? Where
Well,
in the turn do you get?
well, I mean, they're both related, right? So you could talk about it in terms of rotation, or you could talk about it in terms of edging. Today, we're going to talk about it only in terms of rotation. And the IDP says outside ski turns faster at initiation as the wedge is created. From the fall line, the inside ski turns faster until it matches the outside ski. Does that make sense?
From the fall
You're on
line, not
edge.
in it.
Huh?
Out of the fall line, the inside will start to rotate faster to play catch up.
Just says from the fall line, which for me means the apex. So
Right.
these don't start to match until after the apex.
After apex, yes.
Does matching mean corresponding edges?
I'm going to let you guess.
Well, I think it was a leading question for the group.
Well, if he makes a wedge, is that corresponding or is that opposing?
A wedge is opposing edges.
If he is matching his skis at the end of the turn, is that opposing or corresponding?
That's corresponding, but at what magic spot? Are we saying that it's after apex that
It's sometime after apex, we are going to start to have corresponding edges. Sometime after the apex.
You might start to have corresponding edges before you see corresponding rotation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if I want to turn my ski to the left, it has to be on which edge? If I leave it on my right turning edge, I can try and go left with it all I want. It's going to be only one ski doing it.
We could debate all day about exactly where that happens, Michael. Right? Let's just say that at some point in time, after the apex of the turn, skis are going to be corresponding edges. right? And it might be sooner than you think because the hill creates a lot of that edging, right? At the top of the turn, you're going this way. At the bottom of the turn, now you're going, you start to get edging because of the hillside. And that's what Dion's kind of pointing out. So
So when you're matching your skis and they're coming to be corresponding,
yeah,
is it a slow process where they're flat a little bit and then become corresponding?
Yes,
yes,
it
just
has to be.
Okay.
just for the sake of argument, yes. There's still going
Remember
to
that
be.
the
Go ahead, Mike.
ski has to be on the snow. So if you're on opposing edges, you make that turn. You've got to go from opposing edge to flat ski to corresponding edge. And in the fall line right here, this is when this movement starts to happen.
Okay.
And as Chuck said, it's sometime after the fall line that the ski will be steered into corresponding edges. And understand that with the steering happening, there's an edge change happening as well. And they happen simultaneously.
And it really depends on how steep the hill is too. It might happen sooner because it's steeper in the hill. All righty, Scotty, we're going to use your video next week. Oh, he's already gone. All right, cool.
So again, don't think of these movements, these matching as black and white. It's a lot of gray before you get to the black, and it's a lot of gray before you get to the white because there's a progressive movement to get there.
And there are other factors involved too.
Does
Like I
that
said,
make sense?
slope angle will have an effect, right? You'll have corresponding edges way sooner than you thought on a steeper slope
With less movement.
with less movement. All right, cool. Are we done?
Yeah.
I wanted to watch the panda.
No pandas tonight.
Okay.
Panda. Oh, this is his mistake here. He lets him go.
Hey, Gumby,
Yeah.
can I ask two questions? And this is, I'm assuming everybody's feeling free to leave because these are kind of unrelated.
There is no
to what
such
we
thing
talked
as a
about.
bad question.
Oh, well, okay. I don't know if that's true. I think there are plenty of dumb questions. Only kindergarten teachers say there's no such thing as a dumb question.
Well, if it's a bad
However,
question, we'll tell you.
okay, the first question is not a dumb question. I've heard so many people who had the Jen Metz wedge training
Yeah.
say, for the first time, I understood what a wedge is.
Yes.
So I would love it if that were shared with us. Like, I'd really like to know what it is that was this amazing revelation about a wedge.
I'll speak before Dion does, but Dion might be able to sum it up better than I did. What I
Okay.
noticed was instead of manufacturing, what we had been kind of taught before was we needed to align over the new outside ski as quickly as possible,
Okay.
which means before the action happens. And
Okay.
what Jen was talking about was no, you don't have to do that. You can allow the forces to happen to align you. We were trying to get on the new outside ski before anything happened.
Okay.
And that's how I summed it up in my own head. And what I noticed when I did it the way she was recommending, it was way more natural and way more
Okay.
flowy. I didn't feel like I had to do stuff.
That sounds a lot like what Jonathan Ballou was saying about wait. I feel I won't be able to repeat it, but I feel like it matches what we were listening to in his video of waiting until things gripped and came around.
100%. And that's just another way that was paraphrased exactly what Jen was saying.
Okay.
Right.
Great.
And that's why Dion did a whole thing about that this summer about receiving pressure.
Oh, I
instead
was,
of creating
I was
pressure.
there. Okay, I was there. I
Yeah.
took my notes. That was a great class.
And it was. It's really about, instead of creating pressure or creating where American men make stuff happen, right? Allow the thing to happen by itself. Receive the pressure. Find the grip instead
Right.
of creating a lot of grip.
Which is kind of the opposite of what this second Wedge Christie guy is doing. He's doing everything. Like he's the total 1-2 you were talking about.
Oh, and not only is he doing that, he's completely cognitive about it because he keeps looking down his skis when he's doing it, right?
Right. He's just okay.
He has
Okay.
no idea what he's doing. So yeah,
So-
I mean he's trying to create pressure. He's pushing the ski out to find grip and then allow that to push me back instead of releasing and then allowing the grip to steadily increase.
Okay, here's my second question, and this is the dumb question. I don't want you
There's no dumb questions
I
here.
don't want you to take my 2 passes away from me when I ask this. But when we were talking about balancing over the outside ski and feeling that, I know what that feels like when I'm skiing.
Mhm.
And I know that if I'm watching Jonathan Ballou videos, I can assume he's on the outside ski.
Mhm.
And I think I assume when we're looking at almost anybody else that they're not on the outside ski. But
Okay.
truly, I don't think I can see the difference. Like, I don't think I
So
truly see it.
actually, that's a brilliantly done dumb question.
Okay.
I
So
love
we,
that question.
I love the question, and here's the reason why.
Yay,
We're
I get
talking
to keep
about,
my job.
we were literally talking about the last guy, right? This guy, not this guy. Oh no, what first person that we were looking at tonight,
Yeah.
and we were talking about how he had more pressure on the inside ski than the outside ski. Let's rephrase that in a way that's more understandable. He has a disproportionate amount of pressure on the inside ski than he should on the outside ski.
Okay.
He has probably more pressure on the outside ski than the inside ski.
Okay.
Because if you're going to make the ski bend and turn, that actually happens. The problem is that he still has so much pressure on the inside ski, he's not allowing to his body to align over it, and B, he's not getting maximum performance out of the outside ski.
Okay.
So I've said this before in this group, whenever we say that he's got too much pressure on the inside ski or he's standing on the inside ski or blah 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 blah, that usually means he has a disproportionate amount of pressure on the inside ski.
Right.
And we're really looking at alignment, and alignment tells us whether they're standing on the inside ski or the outside ski.
And I think it's the alignment that I have to understand much better than I do.
And his was difficult to see because what he was doing to his pressure phase, to the shaping part, to where he's at, how he was trying to achieve grip, which was distorting ideally what we would like to see.
Right. Right. I mean, his alignment seemed very odd because between him being too far apart and then having too much tip lead, he really looked kind of bizarre for as good of a skier as he was.
And that's that itchy feeling you need to learn to develop, right? And that's that, oh, wait a minute, there's something weird going on here. It looks
Right.
pretty
So-
good, and he's getting some performance, but I don't know, man. Something tells me that's not right.
Okay.
So, Laura,
Yes.
remember how we talked about he stood on one foot and slid the other foot out?
Good job.
Where does that put me in relation to that foot alignment wise?
Wait, say that again. My husband came in and brought me a beer, which was very nice, but then he started talking
And then
to the
all
dog.
thoughts went out of your head. I know.
And I couldn't hear you. I just couldn't hear you, but I was very happy for the beer. Okay, so say
if
the
I'm
question again.
if I'm parallel
Mhm.
and I slide a foot out to make a wedge,
Yeah,
where does it put me in relationship to alignment?
it's got to put you more on that inside non-slid out foot.
Yes.
Correct. And it also then puts you, if you could chop off his inside leg that's in a wedge and line him up, it would put him inclined to that leg.
Mm.
Yes.
where his upper body isn't balancing the angles that are created, and there is no angle created from the knee down.
Okay.
So here he
There's
is.
So
no lateral angle from the knee down. There's forward angle.
there is forward angle. There is no lateral angle to create edging to the ski.
Okay.
So
So
here is that.
tying that back to like Jen's idea of a wedge Christie, my first move is this. It's
Is
actually to create the edge
right.
of my new outside ski.
Yep.
And then the tips start to go down the hill. And because this now has interaction with the snow, it can start to accept pressure, or I can accept pressure that's being developed from it. It'll start to track in the snow. If you think like
Right.
an outrigger turn or a crab walk where you place a ski out on edge and it comes back, as soon as I edge this ski, it's going to start to go. Once it
Right.
starts to go, I can start to balance on it. But if it's flat and I try and stand on it and turn at the same time, it does this.
Right.
It
It's gonna
moves
push out.
away and my whole body's going to twist because there's nothing to stand on.
Right.
It's not interacting with the snow enough to create a platform.
Thanks, Gumby.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks.
Hey, good to see you again, Cal.
Oh,
Always.
Gumby, I
Yeah.
actually found some good ones. Those are horrible. Don't watch those.
Well, we're
They're
gonna watch
really
it
bad.
we have no problem laughing at our trainers. Our trainers.
They're really bad.
Some of them are really, really bad, and they're old school. Oh, these are the really bad ones, yeah. But at least they turn the tips down the hill before they try to.
Right along with a beautiful upper body rotation.
Yeah, that's really big rotation.
And stem. And stem.
So we're doing stem Christies?
Not according to the PSIA, those are wedge Christies. So if you failed and they look like this, it's their own fault because this is what they told you
If
they
we
look like.
failed and our turns look like this, then we show it to them and say, hey, this is on the matrix, we passed.
And I mean, like, he's so
That's-
upright, he is aft.
He's
Yes.
square, and he's square the whole time, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, these are not great ones. I mean, I can give me a second. I can chase down the matrix
I
ones.
actually have a good one for you, Gumby.
Oh, put it
Hang
in
on.
the chat. Put it in the chat.
Coming up.
This is before common threads time.
No, common threads had been done.
Well, then they don't
13
have
years
their,
old.
they should be able to maintain counter through oh, that wasn't an old common thread. Never mind.
They're doing wedge Christies in the video I sent you
Yeah, I got it.
at like 4:34 or 5 minutes.
Welcome to the
My
Nordic
God, she's terrible.
Series, designed
She is. Don't
for
watch her.
instructors
I hate
worldwide
watching
to help
her.
with their certifications. I'm here
We
with
have our own female demo team members. I don't know why we didn't use them.
Yeah, why'd we find a level 3 for the Washington? And it was like, no, those are not it. There we go. That's an accurate one. See how the tips turn before the tails? I'm sorry, before the wedges turned? That one's probably less so, but
Well, what's good is the tips start down the hill slow enough that a wedge is more natural in the development. It's not forced. And it's not really big either because they're not using a wedge for speed control.
Mm-hmm.
and
The
these
thing
are
that-
a little bit more stemmy, but they're level 1s.
So you get to see all three of them doing them.
But they're actually making the tips go down the hill first.
Are these taken from those how to pass your level 1, how to pass your level 2 videos?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's why I recognize these people. I like stared at them for hours.
And she's got the 1-2 movement going on, which drives me nuts.
With the
But she-
pole plant.
With the pull.
And she finishes the turn with an upper body rotation.
She upper rotates
starts with an upper
everything.
body
Everything she
roll.
does is an upper body rotation.
But then she adds a little more hip, like just after the fall line, to really get those suckers to come around.
Well, she's got very sexy hips. What can I say?
She needs to work on that.
It's
not dancing.
Well-defined
Anyway,
roll
the
banking.
point is that when we were watching all of the other people, the wedge was happening before the tips moved down the hill. And when we're watching this video here, at least the tips are moving down the hill before the wedge is formed. Yes?
Yeah,
Does that
okay.
make sense, Laura?
Yeah,
As long as you don't watch the lady in green.
okay.
And the ones on the matrix are actually very accurate. And they actually show this
Well,
Okay.
instead of this.
this looks like Ben Potts doing these, though.
It's not. It's Kevin Jordan, isn't it?
Is that Kevin? I thought it was Ben when they did the close-up early on.
That's too tall to be Ben Potts.
Okay, I stand corrected. I've been known to be wrong a lot.
Ben Potts is only as tall as his feet are long.
Is that another short joke?
It is.
Okay. So I'm just going to need to keep looking and
Oh,
thinking
that's not
about.
Kevin. Who the hell is this guy?
I don't know. My first glance, I thought it was Ben, but I apparently was wrong.
They introduced them at the very beginning.
I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway,
It looks like Troy Walsh.
it could be. And he does a pretty good job. That one's not a good one. That's a pretty good one.
So yeah, that is Troy Walsh. When you watch before everybody else starts going, way up at the top before they actually say Wedge Christie's, when it's Mike Rogan doing them, his are actually quite good.
Okay.
Well, they should be.
I would expect them to be, yes. But I would expect Troy Walsh's to be really good too.
All right. Well, it's time to shut this down.
Thank you. Thanks for your help.
Sorry, I was a little late. I apologize.
Thanks, Chuck.
Blame you. If anybody fails, we're
night.
blaming you, Mike. All right.
That's fine. Everybody else does.
No one's gonna blame you.
Look at what is going on with her shoulders. I'm just
Well,
gonna go
first
ahead
thing
and-
she has to do is move that gate out of the way and start the turn with the hand and arm. You should recognize that, Chuck.